Good evening, Japan and Australia, and good morning, Brazil, and good afternoon, Europe, where our guest today, Felicity Menadue, is. My name is Renato Brandão, and this is the Renato Brandão Live. We've been doing these live streamings for about 6 months now. I've been doing that in Portuguese, my mother tongue, and we've been doing that here in Tokyo, starting with the Brazilians who live in Japan, but then very soon it became quite global, and we started having people watching us, a lot of people watching us in Brazil, and a lot of my friends watching us in Europe as well, in London, where I used to live, and then in Australia. So a lot of people started asking me to do this in English. So here I am. It's my first attempt at a live streaming in English. I hope it will go well. I'm little bit nervous, but it is so much fun. This is just a great opportunity to basically meet my friends, invite people who are doing great stuff to come and talk with us about their lives and about their work. And the main aim of this attempt was just to make people feel a little bit better about this year, because we were so depressed, weren't we, back in June, July, when we had to cancel our holidays. And, this thing didn't go away. On the contrary, it just kept getting worse and worse. So my friends Milton Muranaga in Nagoya and also Lincoln Saito, who is in Brazil, in Belém, helping us with the technical stuff, those two great friends, old friends who I used to work with in television here in Japan, they had this idea: why don't we do these live streamings and talk to people and try to cheer people up a little bit? And that was the main kind of intention in the beginning. I hope we have managed that. I certainly was terribly cheered up, and I feel so good about this, because it has been, as I said, a great opportunity to catch up with friends in a way, in an original way, in this new normal situation that we're living. And it's been great. So thank you very much for joining me today. Those Brazilians who are joining us, I hope you can follow the English. A lot of people are tuning in, I know, every Saturday at 7 o'clock. I hope you're not shocked to see it in English. And for those who are joining it because you know that I'm doing it in English today, thank you so much. It's great to have your support and to know that you're here. Rosalind Brown, a friend here from Tokyo. Hi from Kawasaki. Hello, Rosalind. Good evening to you. Ines Tsukui, also here from Brazil, from Japan, a Brazilian living here in Japan. Let me just see if I can just see who's coming in here. This is a little bit complicated always, because I have, oh, here it is. Great. That's great. So I can actually follow it on my computer. Now, Stephen Morgan, great teacher, great conductor, musician. Maria Cristina Antunes from London. Sonia Susana, our Spanish friend who lived in Brazil, and now she's in Spain. Who else? Inês Eder de Souza from London. Excellent. Thank you so much. That's really, really great. And our guest tonight is Felicity Menadue, and she's a fantastic person, Australian, living in Venice, beautiful city. And it doesn't surprise, makes total sense to me to think that Felicity is living in Venice, because she is a beautiful person and she always surrounded herself by beauty. It was incredible. I remember going to her apartment when we were students together in Melbourne all those years ago, and there was an aura of beauty around her. That's us in the National Theatre Drama School, playing husband and wife in Dawn's Party. That was a lot of fun. But Felicity, has this talent for beauty. I think that's the best way to describe her. And she always made beautiful things. Her apartment was beautiful. And then she's surrounded by beautiful Venice now. She's been there for a few years now, and she's really enjoying that. I think it was a great place to be stuck in, to be honest, but I'm sure it wasn't much fun for her and for people who were in that ghost town that you saw on television in the beginning of the year. But it was an incredible experience for everybody, right? So lots of more people coming in here. Now let me just double check the names. We've got Vera from Australia. Vera is a common friend that Felicity and I have for a long time. In fact, I met Felicity through Vera very much. Carol French, Luca Cherubini, Mauro Hauptmann from Connecticut. That's great. And Sonia Suzanne is in Spain. I think that is, we're getting there. Just a few more minutes, and I'm going to call Felicity into this. But I would like to say that I'm very, very worried about, especially my friends in Australia, because the situation there got worse again, and now it's getting better. it's the same everywhere. I think we're all in the same boat. So I just want to say, hang on in there. Don't give up. Keep being careful. There are some good signs coming up. We were talking about the vaccine. We had a doctor here from Brazil a couple of weeks ago, and he was very positive that some vaccine will be with us next year. And also, everybody seems to agree that the treatment in hospital has improved a lot. People are dying less. It's a horrible thing to say, but it is true. Oh, Nick Atwood from London. So glad you could join us. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Um, it is really lovely to know that there is hope and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We should not be too optimistic yet, too relaxed yet. Of course, please keep taking care, keep washing your hands, keep wearing your masks, and keep distance and all of that, because it is a serious thing. I had a very close friend in Lisbon, Henrique, who caught it and was in hospital for many weeks. It was a very traumatic experience for him and his partner, and I'm so glad that he's out of danger now. But I just want everybody to keep taking care, and we get through this together. And I'm sure that very soon we will be able to meet in person again, travel again, and see our families again. A lot of people separated from their parents, from their loved ones. So don't despair. It's we are getting there. Okay. So Miranda Kenrick from Tokyo, thank you for joining us this evening. It's so lovely to see you here. Miranda has been a great supporter of this efforts, but of course, she doesn't speak Portuguese, so hasn't been watching it. And Anita, thank you so much for coming. Anita is in Melbourne, and she earlier on she said that there was a great sport event today in Australia, and she was a little bit worried about that, so she was able to make it. So I'm very sure. So I think it's time to call our guest, Felicity Menadue. Are you there?
Hi, Renato. How are
Oh, Felicity,
you?
so nice to see you. How are
Lovely to
you?
see you. I'm very well, thanks.
I'm glad to hear that. And what a scare to be stuck in Venice all those months, wasn't it?
Well, I think wherever you were in the world, well, even now as it continues, it's a very surreal kind of experience. But I must admit, it was a bit of a dream come true as well from another point of view, in that I was able to see this beautiful city without people, which was kind of a little bit spooky as well, but an amazing
Oh, I
experience.
can imagine. And I remember that a lot of Italians were saying that as well, that, especially because just before this whole nightmare started, we
Mm.
were talking nonstop about over tourism, weren't we? Like how much,
Oh,
places like Venice and especially Amsterdam, Lisbon, all
mm-hmm.
those beautiful places in Europe were swamped by
Yeah,
tourists.
yeah,
And it was a bit of a worry, actually, because, the infrastructure of the city, those
yes.
huge ships, horrible ships coming into Venice.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
in that sense, it must have been a great relief also for the residents, especially for the residents in
Yes.
Venice, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, yes, because Venice was completely oversaturated with tourists, especially in the summer months. But also, a lot of people had come to rely on that tourism to make their living.
I imagine
Um,
many businesses just went down, didn't they, with that?
yes, a lot
Mm.
of shops and hotels had to close. So I mean, the tourists came back to a certain extent during the summer, but now it's very quiet again. And yeah, a lot of people are
And there is a
struggling.
second wave coming in Europe, so a lot of people are getting worried as well. Let me just interrupt to say
Yeah,
hello to some lovely people who came. Luca
sure.
Cherubini. Luca and uh, Maria Rosa are great old friends that I have in Brescia, very close to you. In fact,
Ah,
there was one time
yes,
when I visited you, and then I went to
that's
visit them in
right.
Brescia.
I remember
Thank you
that.
so much for coming
Mm.
in. Gareth Griffiths, who is a lovely friend who's been trying to watch this as well, but now he can watch it because it's in English. And Vanda Hamilton, whose birthday
Huh?
it is today. So happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Vanda,
Vanda.
from Melbourne. So lovely to see you here.
Oh,
And Vera is saying hello as well. Hey,
hi,
babes,
Vera.
from Anita Smith.
Hi, Nee.
And hello, and people are talking to each other. So I love this because it becomes such a nice social event. People start talking to each other, and Anita is saying Flick is so gorgeous, and I agree. You're always so
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, you're too kind.
Yeah, but how did it happen that you decide to stay? I want to know this because I don't think we ever really talked about this. But everybody goes
Uh-huh.
to Europe.
Yeah.
I fall in love. I'm the worst like travel uh, bitch, if you like, because wherever I go, I just fall in love with the place and I want to live there and I forget about where I'm living. So
Yeah.
recently, my my latest flames have been Amsterdam, which I completely fell in love with, and then
Yes.
we've been
It's
together in
beautiful.
Barcelona, which is another
Yeah.
place, and then Lisbon, and then of course when I go to those places, I always say I want to live here. But you
Yes.
said that, and then you did. So how
I
did
know.
how was this? Congratulations first of all, because I know
Thank
now
you.
you have work permit. You're just completely legal. You're living there.
Ah,
Like
phew.
as
Yes.
fantastic. It took a long
Mm.
time, didn't it?
It
It's a
did
very
take a long
difficult, and a
time.
lot of
Yes.
people try it and don't manage. So how?
Mm-hmm.
David Miles is here, great theater director from Melbourne. Sorry
Ah,
to interrupt.
hello, David
Competing with
Miles.
AFL Grand Final, but great to see you and Felicity. You both look so
Oh,
beautiful in the
it's the
middle of this.
grand final.
That's it.
Oh,
I know we're so out of it,
wow.
aren't we? I didn't know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So happy and happy birthday, Vanda. So tell me, how did it happen? How did you decide I'm going to stay in Venice?
Yeah, I mean, it's still amazing to me actually because I mean, I've always loved Italy. Um, I remember well, the first time I came, I was 6 with mum and dad, and my brother. We hired a camper van and traveled through Europe. So that was
Wonderful.
my first taste, and that really stayed with me. And when I was 19, I won a trip with my best friend to Rome, and that was also an amazing experience. And so I just had this incredible love for Italy, which never died. But I never really thought I could live here. And then I don't know. I studied interior design. I studied acting, where I met you, of course, and I was trying to carve out a life for myself in Australia, in Melbourne, and then I got called back here because a good friend lived here, and asked me if I wanted to come over for a while. She just had her second baby, and it
Oh, is
was
that
just
Francesca?
Francesca. Yeah,
Oh, I know her. She's lovely.
she is, and she's still here. And it was just a time in my life where I was in a transition period, and I thought, oh well, that's not a bad invitation to come to Venice for a few
Yes.
months. And
There
so
you
I
are in front of
went.
the Florian Cafe.
Florian, yes, that was during lockdown.
Yes.
And so I came over, and that just sort of reignited everything. And it was, I was 39 then. So I was, getting to that point in your life where you're really evaluating everything and
Well, you
working
don't look a
out.
day over 30 right now, so I can't believe that you were 39 all
Thanks.
these years ago.
I was
No,
delighted.
I always joke that I'm sure that you must have a little portrait getting old in an attic somewhere in Melbourne, because you are incredible. Like you keep yourself so well, and I know that it's because you're very healthy as well. And I've
Well,
been always, you have always been a model for me. Like the way you
oh,
eat
really?
properly, the way you look after
Uh,
yourself, and so well done.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Well,
Yes.
I'm far from perfect, but I think I have a young spirit, and I feel younger than people that are a lot younger than me. In the
Mhm.
sense that it's just my,
Yeah,
I don't
your
know,
sense
maybe
of
my
humor,
attitude.
have always
That's
been
very,
incredible. And the way
very
we
juvenile.
laughed when we were in school together, I mean, that was such a joy to be, and I think we were very close friends from the beginning of that course because
Yeah.
our sense of humor, and everything. But I love that about you, and I'm sure that it is
Uh,
what it is. That what
I,
like if you can laugh and you can keep things light and all this
Absolutely, it makes
sense
such
of
a
humor and, and the
difference.
wonderful Australian sense of humor anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I want to show you something that you might have forgotten that you
Uh-huh.
made when, like, and gave to me when you came to visit me in Japan the first time. Look at that. And why
Ah.
did I bring that? This beautiful piece. Look, it says Menaju at the back. And why did I want to show it? Because now you are working with Venetian glass, which is
I
fantastic. You even got
am.
to design your own pieces.
Yes.
So how did you go from, like babysitter for your friend to
Yes.
this fantastic job?
Oh, look, it's incredible, really. I don't know if it's luck or coincidence. I'm not sure, but anyway, I wouldn't have in a million years expected to be working in Murano glass, but I'm thrilled that I am. So no,
That's some glass that you designed, by the way, for
yes,
Yali, your company. It's
that's
beautiful, isn't it? It's
thank you.
fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah, it's so fine. And of
that's
course,
very light, that collection.
oh, it looks
Um,
incredible. But I mean, I feel like scared just to look at it because you remember how clumsy I am, and I feel
I
like if I
mean,
just look at it, it's going to drop and break because it's
yes,
so
look,
delicate, isn't it? It's so
glass is
beautiful.
fragile, but
Yes.
I don't know. I find we have some pieces in the collection that those are very fine, but they're not necessarily more delicate than glass that is a bit thicker. I mean, if you drop a glass, it's usually going to break. I
Yes.
actually knocked over one of our vases
Oh my
a
God.
few weeks ago.
Yes.
It was
Well, for those who don't know, I mean, we're talking about Murano glass, which is a beautiful original product. I'm sure it is, like a world heritage, isn't it? Because it's a fantastic
it's
uh, treasure of Venice for
yes.
hundreds of years, if not, I don't know how long. And this company you work for is very interesting, isn't it? They've been in the business for generations, haven't they?
Well, actually, no, this is quite a new company. It was founded about 10 years ago, even a bit longer, actually, 2008, so 12
Oh,
years
right.
ago, by Mary Rose Kahan, who is a very talented, creative, inspirational woman, who also set up the glass museum here in Venice called the Stanza del Vetro, which showcases not only Venetian, Italian glass pieces, but also international artists and designers. So it's an amazing museum, really worth a visit
I
if you
think we
come to
have a
Venice.
picture of your boss, Lincoln. If you could show us, the photo of the two of them together in the office. It's really lovely, and I think I met her here in Tokyo, and she's, as you
Yes,
said, a very inspirational woman. I didn't realize
she
that
is.
that was a new company, but you're getting lots of. Oh, there she is. Yes,
There she
beautiful
is.
windows, by the way. I love those.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
interior.
lovely old Venetian windows.
Michelle Fortuna is online, and she said, "Beautiful,
Hi,
light, and gorgeous, like you, Phyllis." So there you go. Aru
hi,
Albuquerque,
beautiful.
and Aru Albuquerque has come back. He's a colleague of mine here in Japan. He's also a professor at university. Very nice people. But let's go back to our first contact at the National. It was so
Yes,
much fun. So, the National Theatre Drama School in Melbourne. That's I had already finished my degree at Melbourne University, but I really wanted to be an actor.
that's
So
right.
I got in there, and then we met. It was let's just spend a little bit of time just talking about those fantastic people because the amount of
Mm,
talent in that class of '95. That's when we graduated. Oops, shouldn't
yes.
have told the. Now you know how
Well,
old
we
we
were
are.
very young, weren't we? I think we were like we
12 or
12 or
something.
13. I can't remember.
There we are. That's us as a couple
Look
with
at
a
us.
Don't Smart. Exactly. You haven't changed much. You just look the same.
No.
And it was like just to mention a couple of names. I mean, I don't want to name drop here, but
No.
John Sheedy, like became a
Mm.
filmmaker. You were in Berlin. It's
Oh,
hard to believe that in February, before all of this started, you were in
it
Berlin
was
for the
right
Berlin
before it
Festival.
all started, actually.
He was very lucky, actually, isn't he? Because he got out to Berlin with his movie, and
Fantastic.
yeah, and
Yeah, because I think there were already cases in Germany, but maybe they didn't know at that time. But I remember
Exactly.
I got the notice that they were going to do a kind of lockdown in Venice because the carnival was on, Carnevale.
Yes,
And
yes,
I thought, oh,
and then
maybe I
Italy
won't.
was incredible, wasn't it? I mean, I was terrified because knowing that you were there, because I remember how Italy went from zero to spike, like incredibly quickly, and
Yes.
then people were dying, and then Italy, I think, was number one, wasn't it, for a while
Yeah, it was
before the thing got to
incredible
the US
how it just
and
grew
Brazil.
so
Brazil
quickly.
is terrible as well, but.
Yeah.
But back to our lovely group, like
Yes.
Anita, who was already a television star, when she
Yes.
came in.
She was the big star in the beginning, wasn't
That's right. She
she?
was the one
Yeah.
everybody
Hi,
knew.
Neats. You know,
Hello, Anita.
you're still a star.
And Michelle and,
Yes.
Elizabeth Thompson with her beautiful voice.
Yeah,
Just so many people who, like we just felt like a family, didn't we? It was just such a great group.
we
And then, of
did.
course, at the National Theatre, for those who are not familiar with it, they have this terrible system where like you start with a very large group. I think there were like 20 of us, and then they just cut
Yes.
people in second year and cut in the third year, and then we're always
Culling, of
terrified of
course.
being cut. But we made it to the third year, which was a great feeling, and
Yes.
then in the end was just 12 of us, weren't we? Oh, and
Yes.
yes, I'm just thinking of Irene Guzowski, who's now a different surname.
Yes.
She got married, but
She
another
did.
great actress. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm going to stop mentioning
No.
because everybody was incredible in that group.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but we have to mention everyone now.
Yes,
Lawrence
Lauren,
Mooney.
who is a fantastic, very successful radio personality and
Yes,
comedian, isn't he? You
he
were a
is. Yeah,
comedian too, weren't you, for a while?
I was a comedian for a while. Yes, and now I'm just an amateur comedian. Um,
I'm
just,
sure you could do it very well if you wanted to.
but no, comedy was my favorite genre.
And it's
Actually,
very hard. I was never a good comedian. I always found it very
yes, you
difficult. Very.
were.
I made my friends laugh, but I just was terrified
No,
of
but that's.
like.
I mean, if you can make people laugh without even trying, you're a
Mhm.
comedian
Oh
in
well,
my
there you
eyes,
go.
anyway. Yes.
Yeah,
And John Nasser as
Joe
well.
Nasser. Yes, I
Yes.
haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from him for a while.
No, but he's still acting apparently.
Oh,
Yes.
he's very
So
good looking, wasn't he?
very. Yes, I'm sure he still is these days. He's
Yes. Oh, of
probably
course.
got that distinguished salt and pepper hair now, I'd say, like you.
That's right.
Mm.
And who else were we leaving out? Oh, and then there was Jeff Gaskell, who was a mature student. I don't know if he's still acting, but I haven't heard from
Don't
him for a while.
know.
And then
Yeah.
Justin, who went to Scotland, I think, and he had a British passport, and then he kind of settled that. But he came to Japan to visit me once,
Oh, good.
and we got a bit drunk together. It was fun.
Well,
Yes.
why not?
Yes. Well, that's the other thing too, that our time at the National, to me, the memory of it is like one non-stop party because we had so many parties, didn't we? I mean, we were
Mm.
young, but also, we every
Well,
weekend there was
12,
some party
13.
going.
When you're 12 and 13, you do that kind of thing.
We are not 12, by the way. I think some people take us literally, but
Okay.
yeah,
No,
we
we were
felt
a
like
little
that.
bit
And
older.
our fart
Yeah.
jokes were
We were
definitely very
behaving like we were
juvenile.
12 and 13.
Yes. Our fart jokes were 12 and 13. It was great. It was such a fantastic time. And the best thing is that we're still friends today. I mean, that to me is an incredible gift, to have
Yeah.
being in touch with you. And then, of course, you came to visit me here in Japan once, and then twice you came here. Oh, that's us, me visiting you in Venice. Lovely, taking
Yes, that was
the lovely boat taxi.
a great
I felt like
little trip.
007 with a Bond girl.
Yeah, it's a very, very glamorous way to travel in
Yes.
Venice. Yeah.
And then you came twice to Japan for work, with
That's
Yali,
right.
and I went to
Mm-hmm.
your beautiful exhibition, and
Yeah.
it's you're so successful, and you're doing something that you love, and you're expressing your talent for, as I said in the beginning, your talent for beauty. So well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Renato. I mean, we were meant to come this year as well, but
I
cancelled, of
remember. I know we
course.
were making plans, weren't we? I was going to go to
Yeah,
Kyoto with you.
yeah, it's going to be
It will
lovely.
happen. It will happen.
Hopefully, yes. Maybe not next year, but
Mm.
perhaps the year after. Fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I'm waiting for the vaccine because I think that will make the whole difference, even if it's not going to work straight away, just psychologically, people will feel
Mm.
that they can start, having, mind you, I mean, here in Tokyo, it's a bit scary because the numbers, official numbers anyway, are very low. So you're having
Okay,
in
good.
Tokyo, the number of infections have been around 100 every day, which is, compared
Ah,
to 10,000 in the US every day,
yeah.
more, 20,000, I think. It is nothing, but
Okay.
now they have started opening for traveling. I know that a
Mm.
lot of Japanese are coming back and not respecting
Okay.
because in Australia, as you know, because you're going to go and visit your parents soon,
Yeah. Mm.
and all the best for them, by the way.
Thank you.
But as you know, like when you arrive in Australia, you have to pay for your own quarantine, and that's two
Yes.
weeks, and it's very strict, isn't it?
Yes.
But here in
Yes.
Japan, they have the Japanese citizens. I mean, it's very unfair actually because the
Mm.
foreigners they are treated quite a bit differently.
Right.
And for a long time, actually, even as who are permanent residents like myself, if
Mm.
we left, we might not be able to come back.
Ah,
So
okay.
everybody was
Mm.
terrified because people had to go to funerals and stuff like that. But anyway, it's
Right.
a little bit better now.
Good.
However, the Japanese just get a recommendation to follow quarantine, which I know from some people that I know that have
Mm.
come back. Not all of them are following. So then to me
Mm-hmm.
is a recipe for disaster because
Mm.
people are now coming back from Europe, from other places, United States. Of course, as you know, the United States and Japan have a
Mm.
very strong relationship with business and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it might go up again. So I'm very worried about that.
Ah. And why do you think it's the numbers are quite low? I mean, is that because?
Very good question. I think there's one very important thing which is cultural, and that is that
Mm-hmm.
the Japanese already were very good at wearing masks,
Yes, and
right?
they're
So
quite hygienic as well, aren't they?
yes, they are in they
Mm.
are. They're very clean. They're very, they wash their hands. They're very well trained at school, to be very clean,
Mm.
to be very careful. But,
Yes.
they wear masks at, you sneeze and they're putting on a mask, right? So
Yeah.
that was
Sure.
one reason. And then everybody's wearing masks. I mean, it's very rare to see people. Now you start to see, some guys with the masks on their chin and, they're relaxing a little bit. But
Yeah.
in
I see a lot
general,
of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and when they
Mm.
are at work, like they respect it 100%. So
Mm-hmm.
that is one
Mm.
thing that's very important. Nobody's, all this nonsense in Brazil and in America
Mm.
about it's my right not to wear a mask. All this bullshit.
Mm.
I think that's very selfish, and I'm very
Mm.
sorry that this is happening, because
Yeah.
I'm sure that the mask
Definitely.
really really helps. Right.
I
So
think
that's one thing.
so. Yes. Yeah.
And the second reason is, the Japanese are not tactile. I think that we talked about
Mm.
that, like in
Mm.
Italy, people hug, like in
Yes.
Brazil, people are
Yeah.
very, Latin. And
It's
here in
been.
Japan, they don't even shake hands.
Oh, right. Yeah,
They
I
don't
think the
shake hands.
shaking hands is a big thing
I think so
because
too.
because we all touch our face a lot without realizing it.
I'm doing it right now.
So,
Oops. Stop now.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's in Italy, the handshaking is so common and the kisses. So
The
that's been
hugs.
quite
Yeah.
hard to sort of stamp out because it's ingrained.
Yeah.
Um, but now, I know
It's
in our
changed.
office, like, we're using the hand sanitizer every 5 or 10 minutes. But you've just got
Yeah.
to be like that.
I'm back at school reluctantly. I
Oh.
teach at school and at university, and
Mm-hmm.
luckily at the universities all the lessons are online. So I'm very,
Oh,
very, very
good.
safe. Like I feel very safe about that.
Mm.
And actually, it doesn't matter for university lectures because it's in a way we teachers have noticed that students are doing very well
Mm-hmm.
because they have more time at home to study. They're reading more. It actually has a good
Yeah.
effect. But at
Okay.
schools, we went back presentially, mainly because the parents, poor parents, they couldn't stand having the kids at home one more minute. So we
Yeah.
went back
Mm.
kind of pretty much fully now. I mean, it started half the school at a time, around
Mm-hmm.
May, June, and then we had the summer holidays, and then we went back, and then it's full on, right? But
Mm.
they're very, very well behaved. So like all the
Okay.
kids come out of each room and wash their hands after each lesson.
Great.
They're not allowed to, like to stand up during the class. They have to stay in their desks. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
small room, they have partitions. All the
Mm-hmm.
teachers, all the students are wearing masks during the whole,
Wow.
which is very hard to teach with the mask
Yeah.
on. I
Yeah.
feel like
Would
I'm
be.
kind of running out of breath sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also sometimes we have a shield, like depending on the lesson, on the classroom and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But it is scary. I feel scared,
Mm.
because every now and then you hear, oh, there was a parent, so a classroom is closed because one kid might, have that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's not relaxed yet, but
Yes.
it's moving on. But
That.
in general, here in Tokyo, things are pretty much back to normal. There are less people at night in some
Mm-hmm.
places, but the
Okay.
restaurants are open,
Okay.
the buses, the trains are full.
Huh.
So it feels like things are coming back to normal. How
Oh, the
about,
buses and trains are full. Wow. I'm
unfortunately?
here actually in Venice itself. There are a lot more cases than there were during the first wave,
Oh, really?
unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, be careful.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hear of that many cases in Venice during the first wave, but we were all very careful and well, we were so restricted anyway. But right now, we've got more freedom, but I know of quite a lot of cases. So yeah, it's it is a bit scary, and I'm being particularly careful because I have to get on a plane in a week or so. So I can't afford I can't
Yes,
afford
no,
to
no,
get
you'll
it. I
be
mean,
fine.
who would want it anyway? But yeah,
Of course, yeah.
yeah.
No, no, I'm very worried about the second waves as well. And well, it's kind of interesting, isn't it, what's going on with the American election coming up and all the discussion that's going
Mm,
on. And of course, as you probably heard, in Brazil, we have a strange president that's very similar
yes.
to very similar to Trump, I'm afraid, and
Yeah.
he's doing very
Yeah.
similar mistakes.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's kind of opening people's eyes, I think, I mean, to a lot of things because they are
Mm,
kind of discussing it and things are being discussed a lot and being brought up,
yeah.
too much in a way. I mean, I'm very tired actually of politics and very tired of this whole year because of that. And as you
Mm,
know, I work in the media as well. So
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
constantly reading news and it's not, I wish I
Yes.
could just switch off like for a whole week and not,
Yeah, I
watch.
mean, I do switch off quite a bit.
Very wise.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a
No, I have many
very
friends who
strange
do the
time.
same, and everybody, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because in a way, we have that
Mm,
feeling that we need to be aware and we need to participate and we need to, contribute so things can
yeah.
improve. But on the other
Mm,
hand, so much of it has been beyond our control, hasn't it? And we feel so powerless. And what's the
mm,
point, isn't it, in stressing? I think that,
yes.
yeah,
Yes, it's difficult, definitely. I mean, when you turn on the television, apart from the news and current affairs, that's often not very positive. There's so much violence, and I find
yes,
that really distressing.
yeah,
And I don't think that's helping in the advancement of humanity. Um, and I mean, just personally, as I love beauty, and I try and surround myself by beauty. I mean, that's my self for life, and I think people need more beauty in their lives because that's what's going to save us.
You are
Not.
certainly helping, like not just by being a beautiful person inside and out, and I always felt that, but by making beautiful things in your work. Thank you so much for
Oh,
your great
thank
contribution.
you. Thanks,
Yeah,
Renato.
but that the idea of this live streamings were exactly that as well. And when this guy's contacted his Brazilian friends, here in Brazil, in Japan and in Brazil, contacted me, I was so happy because I
Yeah.
was feeling what can we do? And I think one thing is this, that's like talk, chat,
Yeah.
meet our friends in a
Fantastic.
positive way, in a
Yeah.
way that is not, because we were so divided, weren't we? That's the thing too. In the last few years, because of politics, people have been fighting so much. In my
Yeah.
family, as you
All
can
right.
imagine, in Brazil,
Yeah, in
people are
Brazil, I can
very
imagine. Yeah.
divided. It's so sad.
Mm.
My uncle and my mother both died without talking to each other again,
Mm.
which was very, very, very sad, And I think we
Yes.
need to, whatever happens, I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about whatever happens, we need to do it together more,
Mm.
like to
Yeah.
talk, and to reach out
Yes.
and try to, have dialogues as hard as it is
Yeah.
to overcome the pain and the hurt that we felt
Mm.
with politics. We need to, that's what I feel every day, that
Yeah.
it's our
Yeah.
contribution, and I hope it's,
True.
but actually in these live streamings we have been having quite interesting moments, like people meeting each other and kind of
Mm-hmm.
realizing that they have something in common. I think this is so important, that just now having this little meeting here with
Yeah.
our friends from Australia. To me this is precious, and thank you
Yeah.
so much for accepting, because I knew that you
Oh.
would pull a lot of people. So
Oh, come on. Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm actually quite shy, quite private. But I just had to think of it as having a chat with you. Um, and yeah,
well,
I'm.
it's me and a lot of people, and I'm sure everybody's very happy to see you. Oh, look, Ayako is here. Ayako, nice to see you here. That's my colleague. She's been
Ah,
my colleague for many years, an excellent teacher and very well trained, very good, and also a mother of two kids. I taught her kid at school as well, and they're talking to each
great.
other. Nick in England and Ayako here in Tokyo. Thank you so much. Um, and just having a look at the other messages here, Luca
Mm,
Cherubini, my Italian friend, as a reply to what we were talking about, he says, since February, we're not kissing. We're not
yeah,
kissing and hugging anymore in Italy. That's so hard to imagine, but
it
it's
is.
happening
It's
everywhere.
quite hard, especially with your really good friends. But yeah,
Exactly.
have
Anita
to
is
do
saying
it.
that she loves touching her face. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Neats. Yeah, we miss not touching your face actually.
We all love touching Anita's face, um, Vera is here. Anita, come to Melbourne. Anita's asking you. We'll talk to her later. Let me just tell everybody. Erika Ishikawa, lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining us in English as well. She she always comes to the live streamings in Portuguese.
Uh,
Vera is asking, where is gorgeous Joan Nassa? Ooh,
yes, where
people want to
he's
know.
in Sydney, I think.
Yeah, last I heard he was in Sydney. That's right. Yeah. But no, this is really, really lovely to see this participation here. It really makes my heart glow with happiness. I mean, this is people. That's
Uh,
the thing. There are so many wonderful people in the world. That's the thing.
there
That's when
are.
I think about how lucky we have been with our friends and our family. That that people that
Yeah.
understand what love is and what, as you said, what beauty. And that is what we need to share and spread, because that's. I mean, it's such
Mm,
a cliche, isn't it? But that's what matters. That's the only thing that matters in the end.
absolutely. Really.
It
Yeah.
makes all the difference, doesn't it? I mean, the relationships that we've kept and all of that
Yeah.
are there because of this love and caring for each other. And
Yeah.
let's not, like
Absolutely.
forget that. I think,
Mm.
yeah, there's no reason, for forgetting about it. I think we just have to concentrate. And
Yeah.
music,
We.
and music. I love music.
Yes, music as well.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, whatever helps you. I mean, for me, it's more the arts, music and visual arts. But some people also love sport. The people that
Yeah,
aren't watching this and they're watching the grand final in Melbourne, for
they will
example.
regret this.
I think so.
And tell me about like the theater. I mean, to be honest, I really, I did the same as you. I had to go and get, pay my rent and help my mother. So I got a
Mm,
job outside of the theater, and I love my
yes.
teaching, so I'm not complaining. But I miss the theater so much. Do you miss, being on stage and doing a play?
Um, not a great deal, funnily enough. Although, I do think back with fondness to some of the shows and plays that we did, and the great times that we had. I mean, it's I love being with people that work in the theatre. I always surround myself with creative people. One of my very good friends is here in Venice, is an opera singer, and I have many friends that are the artists as well, because there's just an understanding, a way of looking at life that you don't find necessarily in other working environments. There's a kind of childlike way, perhaps, of looking at life, an ability to joke and to have
Yes.
fun. So I'm from time to time I miss that aspect, and when you're working in a really good team, where putting on a play or
Yes. The effort
make
we do together in the theater is quite magical, isn't it? I feel the same with
yeah
choirs as well.
yeah
Is that kind of putting something together
yes
is
yes
quite incredible. Yeah. But
yeah
the skills that you got in the theater, and I did as well, I mean, they
yes,
transfer to other industries. And
they
I think
do,
a lot of
definitely. Yeah.
your success has a lot to do with, what we learned, as actors and all of that. But also, I have to say, I'm a little bit sad to hear you say that. And it's interesting because my friend Miranda Kenrick, who is also a theater person, we met in the Tokyo International Players, which is a great group
Right.
here where, it's the group where I first, got a main part on stage, was here in Tokyo, which was
Ah,
so exciting. And Miranda is a
fantastic.
great friend. And as you said, like, I feel the same. I feel lots of the friends, the best friends I have, were people that I met through the theater. There's something
Yeah.
that put us together that is kind of a kind of unwritten code of conduct, of ethics, of
Mm-hmm.
empathy. I think the theater
Mm.
brings you because you have to become so many different people, so you understand human nature in a way that is quite
Yeah.
special, I think. But
Yes.
I think I always thought of you as a great actress, and to say
Yeah.
that you're so comfortable not missing it so much. Like the same with that's why I mentioned Miranda. Miranda says the same. That's behind me. I don't think, but I still have
Yeah.
part of me that says like, maybe I'll go back and do another play.
I have actually, I do have a slight feeling that I might go back into it, but I'm not sure where that comes from. But yes, I mean, what I love at the moment is that I nobody knows who I am, unless now, after this if this is televised, suddenly.
The
No,
millions
I
of
mean,
people watching Renato Brandão live. Yes,
yes,
sorry,
that's right.
you're very
No.
famous again.
No, I really enjoy being able to just go wherever I want, and nobody knows who I am. um
I
and
know what you mean. The
yes,
privacy. I
the
know.
privacy.
Yes.
So that's a
When
real
I
freedom.
was a mini celebrity here in Japan, and
That's
it
right.
was kind of scary sometimes getting to
Yeah.
places where there are lots of Brazilians, and then people are so wonderful. You get all this attention. It's great for your ego.
Yes.
People want to take photos with you and all of that.
Yeah,
But then you
sure.
feel like, oh my God, I'm a public person, and like I can't
Yeah.
really do anything strange or
Yeah, you
funny or
become a kind of prisoner.
yeah.
Um, so
Yes.
that I do really appreciate that, and also being over in Europe, being able to travel to so easily to so many places up until COVID came in, of course.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I think maybe I would definitely consider going back and doing something, but it would have to be with the right people and the right project.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could still do it. I mean,
Oh, I think,
I
like, yeah, you get a bit insecure, don't you? Because it's like, oh my God, could I
maybe.
do that again? And I remember talking to that with Venda, actually, who's watching us now, and we did
Yeah,
a play with her. I think you might have seen it. Her
I
monologues,
I
Diary
did
of
see
Four,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very
and
good.
and she, it was her coming back as well. She had done theater, and she was coming back and doing monologues, which are very hard, and she was
Yes,
brilliant.
yeah,
And I think those
absolutely.
skills that you develop, they stay with you. And
Mm,
as you get older, your life experiences come in, and of course, like we
yeah,
we might have to really struggle if we had to do Shakespeare tomorrow, because that skill, that kind of, the use of language and all of that is practice as well, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, yeah,
it's your body
sure.
and all of.
Yeah,
But I
absolutely.
would love to see you on stage again. And you've done so much. Like, I remember, you did a little bit of plays with me at the National Theatre, but you also continue doing, amateur plays and semi-professional plays. And what do you think was like the best thing you did? What do you really miss, from your acting days?
Oh, um, well, I have to say my favorite play um, that I that I did actually performed in was Don's Party. I mean, I just loved performing that role, that character, Jodie, who was your wife, actually, your
That's
character's
right.
wife.
Yes, that
Yeah,
photo that Lincoln showed before, that was from Don's party. We were a 1960s conservative party going to a very wild party of the swinging
yeah.
60s. But you were brilliant. You were very, very good. I
Ah,
really
thank
enjoyed
you.
that. No, I
No, I
remember.
mean, I remember I'd had quite a difficult time in the play because we did three plays in the final year, didn't we? I
Yes.
think. Yeah, so it was our final year at the National
I
Theatre.
really enjoyed you in Our Country's Good, which is a lovely
Um,
play. And then it was very interesting because we were also a couple, but unrequited love. I was in love with you, and you didn't love me. Yeah,
sorry.
you went away with the captain, who was John Chidi.
That's right. Yes.
I never
Yeah.
forgave him for that. But
No.
no, but I really loved you in that. I thought you were very, very good, and I loved the play as well. I thought that
Yeah.
play was brilliant. But Don's
It,
part was great fun for me as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great fun, and it was our final play, and then we were launching ourselves out into the professional world, and
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it
much
was
hope. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's right. Yeah, that's
So
great.
and then gosh, I went on to do quite a bit of comedy, and worked with like Dave O'Neill, did a lot of sketch comedy, and we went to Adelaide, and then yeah, Edinburgh.
Wow,
It
did
was
you go to Edinburgh? I never knew that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
great.
So I mean, but it was hard as well. Like it was a hard slog. Had to
Hmm.
do all your own promoting,
Yes,
publicity.
yes, yes.
Um, yes.
Yeah, and that is the part I don't miss, of course, because as everybody knows, it's a very, very hard career. You have to be so lucky, and it is a struggle. And like, if you
Mm,
don't have extremely rich parents who can, pay your way, which is what
mm,
happens to a lot of successful actors. When
mm-hmm.
I must admit, I mean, I don't want to diminish their talent, but when you
Yeah.
look at the number of talents who actually are successful because they didn't have to, worry about paying the rent,
Yeah.
this shows you that it is a bit of an elite profession, and I wasn't, from the elite, and it was very,
Mm,
very hard for me to,
yeah.
you know, to not make money, for my art and all of that. So I don't miss
Yeah.
that part. And
No,
it's a
I
bit
don't
like,
miss that
soccer
either.
players, isn't
Yeah.
it? Have to be very, very lucky to
Yeah.
make it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it was always difficult because, you'd have your bread and butter job that helped you pay the bills, but then you'd get a call from your agent to say, oh, you've got an audition tomorrow at 10, and you had a shift at 10, so then you've madly got to see if somebody can cover you.
Oh, many
And
times I've been through
yeah,
that.
it's really
I still do
stressful.
that, actually. I have an agent here in
uh,
Turkey, but I do, like, extra work and stuff like that. Occasionally, I get a speaking part on TV and stuff, but not much. But
okay.
it's the same. Like, I get emails. Luckily now it's all by emails, and because
Uh-huh.
I'm very clear that I can't miss my work
Yeah.
for audition, so
Mm.
it's not a problem. It's not a kind of, I don't lose sleep over it anymore.
Oh,
Let's put it that
good.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it still happens, yeah. And how about Australia? Like, yeah, that's the other thing, isn't it? We are both away from Australia, but it
Yeah.
is, like a little bit hard sometimes, isn't it? Do you feel like you would like to go back, or do you feel like your home is Italy now? How are you feeling
Um,
about that?
I I don't miss Australia as a country, um, but I miss my beautiful friends and family. Um, and yeah, I mean, my ideally, it would be great to be able to spend more time there and sort of have, I don't know about half and half, but sometime in Australia, a couple of months there and the rest in Italy. I mean, I've been trying to do that. I do always go home for Christmas and see the family, but I do love living here. I really do. I mean,
Mm.
it it just fulfills me on so many levels. But I was born and raised in Australia, so I am undoubtedly Australian, but I feel very much Italian as well, in the sense that I'm just so at home here.
I'm sure
Um,
that Luca and Maria Rosa, my friends in Brescia, will be very, very happy to hear you say that. And I
uh,
totally understand. I think Italy is one of the most beautiful, most incredible places on earth. And that includes the Italians, the Italian friends I
yeah,
have. What
yeah,
incredible culture and
Re- it
art,
really is.
food. It's like you're very, very
Yeah.
lucky to be there. And I
I
totally
know.
understand what you're
I'm
saying.
I'm very, very blessed to be here. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I'm very grateful to be
Mm.
here.
And
And
I'm
when
sure
I
Italy is very happy to have you as well.
oh yes, I hope so. I mean, when I'm away from Venice, if I see something on the TV about Venice, it does sort of pull at my heartstrings.
How interesting.
So
Mm.
yeah, it
Mm.
is, isn't it? It's funny because we always thought that my surname was French,
That's right.
um, but we had our DNA done this year,
All
and
right.
I got
I
my
did. I did
dad's.
mine too. I'll tell you
All
about mine.
right,
Tell me
yeah.
about yours first.
So there was no French whatsoever.
Oh,
There was lots of English, bit of Irish, Scottish, which was to be expected, but there
yes.
was a bit of Italian and Greek and
Ah.
Scandinavian
Oh,
actually,
wow. How
which
interesting.
yeah, all on my dad's side. So
Ah,
so maybe the roots are Italian after all.
yeah.
Um, I don't know
Well,
if
they say we all come from Africa ultimately. So
that's
I
right.
remember Michael Martin, our friend, and he always said that whoever goes to Africa gets this sense of deja vu because we all came from there. Very interesting point of view.
Okay,
But
yeah,
I'm sure that well, Europe is such a mix, isn't it? And
it
well,
is.
I got
Yeah,
Celtic as well, which was very interesting. But then I found out
it
that it's
is.
probably Iberian because a lot of
Ah,
my parent, especially my mother's family, they're from the north of Portugal, and the north of
okay.
Portugal has already a lot of relationship with Wales. So the Welsh,
Ah,
that connection. Actually, Gareth Griffiths,
mm-hmm.
watching yesterday, is from Wales. I always felt very um, very moved by Welsh culture, Welsh music, and the
Okay.
countryside is really fantastic. But I
Yeah.
think it's really the Portuguese, and then from Portugal, I'm very Iberian basically, so Portuguese,
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, and then in
Yes.
that I have a lot of Jewish as well, and it's
Okay.
both. Ashkenazi, which was a surprise, and that has to be
Uh-huh.
from my German grandmother, which I thought was German, but she was probably Jewish. But of course,
Okay.
most of it is the Iberian Jews, Sephardic
Mm-hmm.
Jews, and that's
Mm.
quite a lot, like 17% or something. So I was very proud
Okay.
proud of that. Very,
Oh.
like I think it's a wonderful inherit, like the whole of Iberian Peninsula. That mixture, is so interesting.
Yeah, I had a bit
Uh,
of Iberian as well.
Oh, there you go.
Although, strangely enough, I don't think mum or dad did, so I don't know where it came from.
Skip a generation.
Yes,
Oops.
yes.
Say no more.
Uh, mm,
No,
intriguing.
no, I think also we have to take all of that with a grain of salt because those studies are still quite new, aren't they? And we're still like, learning about our DNA and all of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just before we go, oh,
Yes.
Gareth is putting like thumbs up here because of my Welsh connection.
Connection.
I'm very proud that he wrote something that I can't read. Diol Uniform. So sorry, you have to explain that to me there because don't go as far as speaking the Welsh language. Renato, you might be more Iberian than me. Sonia says probably. Beautiful Wales. Vanda said I'm blushing because we were both.
Talking about how great her
How great
performance
she
was.
is. And, like Vanda is going to be our guest next month, by the way. So let
Oh,
me just,
great.
and she is a fantastic person in so many ways, not just her
Mm,
incredible acting, her, theater sensibility, but as you know, she went back to university and did
yes.
law, and now she's a very accomplished lawyer. So we're going to talk about that later.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Be
and David
watching that
Miles
one.
is kind of, yes, watching the sport in Melbourne, Felicity, but we'll never forget the time in Venice working at Teatro La Fenice. There you go. I knew, baby.
Did you work
Hopefully
at
those days are
Teatro La
still
Fenice?
beckoning. Yeah. Well, David
Wow.
has an incredible curriculum. He's worked with the
Yes.
Beatles and in London. Oh, and his wife, lovely Odira, fantastic people. And Very
Yeah.
saying, wow, Renat, I wonder if we are related, as our family recently found we are Sephardi descendants. Well, Vera, a lot of Brazilians are
Mm.
because Sephardi Jews, they were so present in Portugal, and then they
I
went to
didn't
Brazil.
realize that.
Oh yes, because when it happened, like they were actually in Spain originally, but Spain was quite, aggressively pursuing them, with the Inquisition, and Portugal
Right.
was a little bit more lenient. So there was
Mm-hmm.
a big transfer of them to Portugal, and then from
Mm-hmm.
Portugal to the colonies, to Brazil and other places. And the first, for example, the first uh, community of Jews in New York is actually from Portuguese Jews via
Mm.
Amsterdam because they had escaped north as well because Amsterdam was another tolerant place. And then
Right.
there's a
Mm.
beautiful Portuguese uh, Jewish Erasmus, the famous philosopher. He's a Portuguese Jew, for example. So there's that kind of
Ah,
inheritance. Yeah. So yeah,
wow.
there you go. We are related. We are related. And Stephen Morgan, wonderful conductor. Maybe you heard about him. He was the conductor of
Yes.
the British Embassy Choir, where I used to sing many years ago. He says, I've been to Venice about 4 times and totally adore the city and its people.
Mm.
If I get back, let's meet for a Negroni on the Piazza San Marco. There you go.
Okay, you're on, Stephen.
Yes,
I'll
and we
be in
had a
there.
Negroni together, didn't we? In Rome, remember?
That's
That was
right.
so nice.
Yes.
Beautiful drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so terrified to look at the watch because it's already 7:57. I would love to keep
I
talking with you for
know
another
that
2 hours. It went
that
so
went so
quickly.
quickly.
Of
Yes.
course, because of you. I knew it would. And Felicity, I just wanted to say I'm so, so happy that you accepted my invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
It's
asking me,
very,
Renato.
very,
I'm honored to be your first English speaking guest.
it's very
Thank you so
special to have
much.
you because uh, you are so wonderful and you are such a great, adored friend. And like I
Thank
knew
you.
to have your aura of beauty, as I said in the beginning, is like I'm sure it's going to do people a lot of good, and I hope we
Oh,
can rub off some of that beauty that you exude,
thank
and
you so much.
good luck with your work. Congratulations on doing this fantastic work with glass. I think that it's absolutely, you might have found yourself with this job. I know that you help also with organization and also with some window dressing or some decoration as well, don't you?
I do, like, all the photo shoots that we do, the styling, let's say, of the glass. Yeah, we're a small company, so we all do a bit of everything
Fantastic. You're going
actually.
to keep learning a lot and keep bringing a lot of your talent into this fantastic business. So congratulations.
Thank you,
Sonia
Renato.
Susanna is saying, you're so lovely. Felicity, thanks for chat.
Oh,
Anita is
thank
saying,
you.
love, light. Thank you so much. So thank
Thank
you very much,
you.
people watching us today. That's really lovely
Yes,
to have you with us. And let's do it again. Soon Renato Brandão Live is back next Saturday in Portuguese, if you want to practice that. But in English as well, back in November with Vanda Hamilton. I'll tell you
great.
the date later. And Felicity, all the best and have a lovely trip to
Thank
Australia. And
you. Thanks so
my
much,
love to both your lovely
Renato.
parents.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you too. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Take,
Ciao.
take care.